What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to solve a very specific but frustrating and kind of annoying problem. So, have you ever been communicating with someone and you're trying to get them to understand something? Maybe you're trying to get them to believe something. Maybe you're trying to get them to buy a product or a service from you, and they're resisting and they don't want to move forward because they feel like whatever you're proposing to them isn't going to work for them, or it just might not be the right fit, or it just doesn't seem like it's for them. So if you've ever had this issue, I'm going to show you how to solve this problem today by asking one simple question. And if you like this type of content, then consider subscribing to the channel. So let's jump right in. So this question is really just super simple and straightforward, and it is, what would you need to see or hear to feel comfortable moving forward? So what exactly is this? This is a clarity-seeking question that shifts focus to why not to what if. You see, the reality is that people think in pictures, and the human mind visualizes outcomes. And lots of times, if you're presenting something to someone and they're just not jiving with it, most of the time it's because they're visualizing either an unfavorable outcome or they're visualizing an unclear outcome. In other words, they just don't understand how this thing that you're suggesting is actually going to work for them. And so their brain is in why not mode. Their brain is focusing on why this isn't going to work. But the reality is they might not actually even know how it could work for them. They might not actually even be aware of the possibilities. So what you want to do is shift them away from this why not state into this what if state of possibility. So this works because it presupposes that moving forward, aka complying with you, aka making the decision that you want them to make, aka saying, yes, let's do this, is actually already on the table. Now, all it does is invite the person to construct their own pathway to agreement. And this is super powerful because, generally speaking, people don't like to be told what to do, and they don't like to be pressured. What they like to do is feel independent, as if they came to the conclusion or the decision on their own. So when you do this, when you allow them to find the pathway to agreement, it puts them in the driver's seat. It puts them in control, or at least it gives them the sense that they are in control, even though you are the one subtly leading them to the outcome. So you want to use this when someone is stalling a decision or they are expressing uncertainty. But the key is, again, you want to do this without appearing forceful or directive. So this works because the brain begins searching for answers to the question asked, subtly reinforcing the idea that the desired action is logical and achievable. So again, when the human mind is presented with a question, it cannot help but try to find an answer. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't always work. And sometimes the answer might be, I don't know. But the brain will at least try to solve the problem. It will at least try to figure out the answer. And so when you pose this type of a question, it almost forces the brain to start thinking of answers. So two simple examples of this could be, what would make this an easy yes for you? And the second one is, what would help you feel confident about the next step? So a detailed example of this is, you're talking with a prospect and they're like, I'm just not sure yet. Now, poor communicators will let them off the hook with that. They'll be like, okay, well, here's my card. Give me a call when you're ready, right? That's a poor communicator. An average communicator will probe a little bit deeper. They'll say, what exactly are you not sure about? Or what exactly are you uncertain about? But the problem with that type of a question is it almost kind of like puts them into a circle, because they're not even really sure what category of uncertainty they have. So, for example, there are like different categories of skepticism that somebody could have. They could be skeptical that they're going to lose money. They could be skeptical that they're going to lose time. They're going to be skeptical that that it won't work for them because, maybe they're skeptical of you. They don't believe you. They could be skeptical that it works for other people, but it just won't work for them. They could be skeptical of themselves. Like, you could be presenting something to them that has been proven to work by tens of thousands of people, but they could be looking at that and saying, well, it worked for all those people because they were smarter or harder working or more talented or more educated or gifted or whatever it is, but it won't work for me. And the problem is that, again, if you start with the question of like, well, what are you uncertain about? It kind of just loops the person back to that place where they started from. Not always. Sometimes they can get clarity on what they're uncertain of, but a better question to ask, the question that expert communicators ask is, I understand, what would you need to see or hear to feel confident about moving forward? Now, you see how much more specific that question is? We're asking them, what would you need to see or hear? And now you're kind of bringing them closer to identifying the category of skepticism that they have. So they would say something like, well, I guess if I had proof that this actually works. Well, now at least you know what the skepticism category is, right? You know what the thing is that's holding them back to some degree. So now you can start addressing that objection. And you kind of know exactly what they need to hear in order for them to move forward, again, without pushing them. Now, there's a specific type of tonality that you want to use when you are delivering this, and it is what we call assumptive but soft-spoken. You want to use a slightly downward inflection at the end, and you want to deliver this calmly as if you're already halfway through the solution together. So again, the key to this whole thing, the key to making this type of stuff work is it has to feel like it's either them making the decision or it's a collaborative effort that you're doing it together. But they need to feel some sense of autonomy and some sense of independence, as if they're the one that is actually making the decision. And so, guys, take this, use this, have a ball with this. I think you'll get really great results with it. If you do, go ahead, leave a comment. I'm also putting a link in the description for a free guide for you guys. Just go ahead, check the description, and I'll hook you up with that. And if you found this video to be interesting and helpful and enjoyable, and you like this type of content, give me a like, leave a comment, and consider subscribing and hit that bell notification so you get updated when I release more videos like this.